gardening friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, I'd like to welcome you. My name is Amanda and this is my garden. This is my very first vegetable garden. I am a first-time gardener. I've grown flowers and things of that nature in the past, but I really wanted to try my hand at growing my own vegetables. I'm really into canning, processing my own food. We process our own meats and things, but I've always wanted to try to do my own vegetables. So I thought I'd give it a try this year, and so far it's doing well. I've gotten a few things out of my garden so far. I'd like to take you on a little tour. Again, this is my first garden. There's lots of things I still have yet to learn, and I'm hopeful that I can learn from the viewers and from other kind of experienced gardeners. So any advice is definitely appreciated here on my channel. So first I want to take you down this first row. I guess I should say I'm located in central Pennsylvania, and our growing season's pretty decent, I guess. Our last frost was, I'm gonna say, end of March, beginning of April. Our weather's been kind of odd, but it's been okay this summer. We had a lot of rain at the very beginning of the spring. Like, we had a lot of rain. Our yard usually gets pretty soggy just because we have mountain runoff. We're kind of, I don't know if you can tell, we're kind of on a slant. But the place I chose for my garden in our yard does okay. The water will run kind of down through it, but for some reason this year it really saturated and it soaked in. So I had a few issues, but I worked through it, and I'll take you around to the garden and before it gets too dark, because the sun is setting, because it was really hot out here. So I'll kind of give you an overview of the garden, and then we'll go through each row and what I'm growing. Okay, so if I stand here, this is the top corner of my garden. I'm looking down through it. So you can see here our yard is very large. Beautiful sunset this evening. We don't have any shade trees. We've got these two maples here that we planted several years ago, and that's about it. We get a little bit of shade off these trees, but not a lot. So everything that I chose to plant in my garden does really well in full sun. I made sure that I chose things that, number one, that we eat or will eat, and number two, things that do well in full sun. As you can see, I tried to do the wood chips, but I was unsuccessful. I think my biggest issue was I didn't put cardboard down first. So what I plan on doing is maybe bringing in some more wood chips and trying to smother what I've got going on here. It's doing okay. I'm not having too many weed problems in the actual beds themselves, but just out here. But this spot right here, no weeds. Maybe I've got more mulch here. I don't know. Any suggestions would be greatly appreciated. I just have a simple chicken wire fence around it. We don't get too many critters, which is odd. We get deer, so that's probably going to be my biggest concern whenever the fall rolls around and they start really looking for food. So I might have to do some more deer maintenance. But as of right now, I haven't had any issues with pests. Other than our neighbor's chickens. They've gotten into my strawberries. For some reason, they love my strawberries. So, but they're over there, but I'll show you those later. So I'll take you on a little tour around the actual garden and show you what I've got growing, and talk a little bit about where I struggled before the sun completely goes down and I run out of light before we can water. So let's go ahead and get into it. Down this first bed, this is my top side bed. This is a ground bed. I just tilled it up. We threw in some amendments. It's still pretty rocky because this is, it's virgin soil. We haven't done anything over here yet, but I amended it with cow manure, and we threw some fertilizer in it before we planted, all that good stuff. So the intention for this top bed was to be potatoes. I really, really wanted to grow potatoes because we love potatoes. We go through potatoes a lot. But I planted this whole way down with white potatoes, and in the back I planted yellow potatoes. I followed all of the steps but probably about, I want to say, a week after I planted them, if that, I don't even think it was a week, we had rain for days. And it wasn't just the sprinkle, it was downpours for days. And it completely saturated the garden. Like, I was really concerned that my seeds washed away, that I was going to lose everything and I would have to start all over. The only thing I lost were these potatoes. I went back because I realized I was like, when everything else started coming up in the garden, I realized that the potatoes weren't coming up. And I figured, well, maybe I can sacrifice one, dig it up, and see maybe what's going on. Well, I couldn't find them. They had decomposed. All I could find was the skins, and the bugs got to them and they didn't even have an opportunity to grow. So I'm not sure what happened there. So I decided to go ahead and till up all of this. It's dry right now because I haven't watered it, but I tilled everything up and I planted Danvers variety of carrots. They were highly recommended by lots of folks that I watch and that I researched. And there's 96 in this particular bed. I've got some weeds. I gotta go through and do some weeding. I need to get a weeding tool, a better one. Like I said, I've got issues with the grass in my walkways, but not a whole lot. Not anything too crazy that I can't really manage inside the beds. I can just pick these things out. They're not too bad. Oh yeah. So that's what's here. So this is what I decided to do in this bed since I didn't grow potatoes. And then I went and I got a few more. I got these from a local place down the road that they have vegetables. So these are all beef stock, I think. I planned on doing seed starts, but I didn't catch up to it in time, and I just wasn't successful with that. So I just decided for this first year I would purchase plants and see how I did with those, and if those were successful, maybe I would try seeds next year. So these are beef stock, and they're actually really doing well. I gotta come in here and prune a couple of these leaves down here at the bottom, but I've already got a few tomatoes on this one. The bigger ones in the back haven't produced yet. I think I just need to go in and prune some leaves, let them focus on that. But I got lots of flowers, lots of blossoms, so and their stems are real sturdy. I haven't had to stake these ones up yet. We had a really bad windstorm come through probably a week or two ago. No, it's probably a week ago. And it was pretty bad. We had a lot of wind. We lost power, everything. But these guys did really well. I was really surprised. So they're pretty sturdy. I haven't had to stake them up yet. But I imagine once they start getting fruit, we'll have to stake them up. So let's go further down and see what else we got. Okay, so further down the bed here, this is broccoli. I'm not 100% sure what kind it is. I need to keep better track of that. So I do apologize if you're wondering what kind it is. I honestly don't remember. But they're doing really well. They've really sprouted. They've gotten pretty big, and my goal is to hopefully harvest the leaves and try doing greens with them. I've never tried it, but I'd like to get the most out of my garden that I can. So these are, sorry about the motorcycles. Okay, sorry, we live out in the sticks, so people like to rev their bikes up down this road, so I do apologize. So that's what this is here, broccoli. I already had a broccoli plant over here, which I'll show you here in a little bit, that I planted, and it did really well. So I went, because I needed to fill this bed in now that I didn't have potatoes, and so I went out and got some more broccoli because we really like broccoli. My one boy, he absolutely loves broccoli. So, and then here you can see I have potato plants. So I had some leftover potatoes from when I planted the first batch that were still good and had some really good eyes on them. So I thought, I'm gonna try and see if maybe it was just I did it too early, or the ground got too saturated or anything like that. We have a lot of clay here, So I thought maybe if I retill, things will happen. So I'm so glad that I did, because I got 4 plants to come up. I planted 6 potatoes in here. These 2 here in the middle didn't come up, but I got 4 plants. It's probably not going to be a big harvest. I don't really know. Again, first time gardener. And I don't really know a whole lot about potatoes and potato plants. I know once you get blossoms, that's usually an indicator that you'll get spuds. So again, any advice? But they've been doing really well. I have been fertilizing them, the plants, every 3 weeks with some fish fertilizer, which was recommended, and they love it. They've been doing so well. I was really worried at the start because nothing didn't seem like it was growing. It seemed really small. So I did a soil test and those sorts of things, and I decided I'll go ahead and try the fish fertilizer, just because it was recommended, and there's, you know, a lot of people use it, and it's a good fertilizer, and you can stretch it out every 3 weeks. So and they love it. They've been doing so well. So I'm really excited about the potatoes. Like I said, it'll probably be a small harvest, but next year we'll see if we can't do a better harvest. So, and then all the way down here on this end, videoing. So this along here, these are all cauliflowers. I did have a big cauliflower over here, but it grew and I pulled it. So, and then back here in this grassy bit, the reason it's so grassy is because I did have green onions back there, and they all grew up, and we pulled those. So, I thought about putting corn over here, but I think it might be too late for corn. I don't know. So I might till that up, but I gotta get all this grass taken care of first. But that's what's going on in this bed. I'll take you over to the back side, and we'll try to get through this before it gets dark. Okay, the long side. All right. So I mentioned I had a cauliflower, but I pulled it. And all of this is cucumbers. Okay, I don't need my stool. So these are all my cucumbers. I personally don't like to actually eat the cucumber. My plan is to make pickles. I've got a whole bunch of dill growing over by my house, and I like dill pickles. So I am going to make pickles. I have 4 plants here, and they're all doing fantastic. They were really sad at the beginning. Again, I was concerned, but I came out here and it was like overnight. They grew up. So, got lots of, ouch. They're the spiky ones. So if anybody has any suggestions for non-spiky ones, let me know. Because I'm going to have to wear long sleeves and gloves. But there's loads of blossoms in here, like loads. I'll see if I can get some close-up shots, but this is doing phenomenal, and I'm really excited. I've got straight 8s, and I've got Boston pickling in here. I'm not sure which ones are which, but that's what I've got growing in here. So the Boston pickling, I'm going to try to do just whole pickles, and then for the straight 8s, I want to do sliced pickles. Okay, I gotta hurry because the sun's going down. So this is my broccoli plant. This is the first one I planted, and I've already harvested the main blossom out of here. But as you can see, I've got lots of side shoots, and they're probably getting ready to come out. I don't know how big they get, but there's a lot here. And I'm going to harvest a few more of these leaves. I could probably pull some of these off. No, I don't know. But I've got lots of side shoot growth, so I'm really excited about that. And then back here, this is a celery. This is just an experiment. I didn't know if it was going to work out, but it seems to be doing okay. I don't know how you're supposed to take care of celery, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so before I lose all of my light, I have to get to watering. So I'll do a part 2 of my garden tour. I guess this is a beginning of summer garden tour. I'll do a part 2 tomorrow. I'll bring you out, and we'll continue with the tour, and we'll go from there. We'll chat a bit more, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please consider hitting the like button down below, as well as to subscribe so you don't miss out on any more content here at my YouTube channel. I'll catch you guys again real soon.